Welcome back to another episode of Keeyzo's Corner. It's your boy, Mr. Keeyzo, in the building. I got a special guest, director, producer. He even have his own production company. Welcome to Mr. Keeyzo's Corner, my boy Samson Styles, man. What's going on, Sam?
What's good, Keeyzo? How you doing, bro? I'm good, man. Thanks for having me, man.
I appreciate you pulling up on me, man.
No
you know
doubt.
what I'm saying? So, and we got a lot going on this week, but, you know, we here. We made it. You know what I mean?
Grace of God, man.
You know, I was telling you a story. You know, we've been in this business for years, and sometimes you cross paths and not even, you know what I'm saying? Not even understand that you even met a person. But I was telling you, I was watching a documentary on Netflix, sitting there with wifey, and who pops up on the screen? I'm like, yeah, I think I know son. You know what I'm saying? I know him from somewhere. So when you know, Andrea reached out and put us together again, I was like, yeah, this is the same dude from the doc. I said, I keep telling you, as soon as he come in here, I'm going to ask him. And what I say was, you first walked in, I was like, yo, don't we know each other? He was like, yeah, we met.
Exactly.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I never really forget a face, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but you've been having your hands on a lot of things, man. Tell us what you got going on.
Man, we have a production company that's producing. One of the shows that we produce is The Griot with Mark Lamont Hill, one of the news shows with Mark Lamont Hill. We pitching a scripted series. We jumping into that space now, and so that's a lot of work, writing, rewriting, and you know,
Trying to get it right.
Yeah, to get it right, you know. And I teach a lot, so I'm on Rikers Island 5 days out the week. I got a class that I teach scripted content development with some of the dudes in there. Some of them may be getting sentenced to life, man, but you know, to give them the inspiration, let them know that you can still create, man, no matter where you at, and you can still monetize what you create. You know, I know one brother, matter of fact, that's locked up in North Carolina, that's still writing, and there's movies that's being shown that you don't even know the guy that wrote it is behind the wall, and he's still taking care of his family and everything. So just try to give them, you know, some aspiration, man, and inspiration. Let them know that, you know, you can still do it no matter where you at. Just know how to create, structure it, and monetize it. So I'm doing that, and then I'm on the juvenile side of things with the adolescents. That's on Rikers Island and the 4 building. And that's, you know, through the King of Kings Foundation. And what we do is just give support, man, and help them with their legal work and just let them know what is the choices, the consequences, and what's at stake, you know. And I also teach with Man Up Inc., which is another nonprofit organization that's doing tremendous things in the neighborhood. Shout out to A.T. Mitchell. So I also do work with Man Up Inc. I do documentary filmmaking. I teach with their organization. It's a dope non-for-profit that's been in existence for 20 years now. They do amazing work within the community. They have over like 12 locations. This method that they have could be replicated. And the founder name is A.T. Mitchell.
Right.
He's was appointed the gun prevention czar of New York by Mayor Eric Adams. So, you know, I'm in good company, man. So everything I'm doing, I'm producing, and I'm doing community work and giving back and being able to monetize it as well, you know?
That's big, because you mentioned something about the kids. It's funny that you said that, Rikers, because I went to talk to that, I think the same type of group. It was the adolescents, and it was like 200 kids in there, bro. And I was just standing there like, wow. It's like everybody under the age of 18, and I'm looking at these kids like, and it was funny because one of the kids, or not even one of the kids that was there, one of the, I guess, inmates that, I don't know if he was connected with the program or was just around the program, because he was way older than 18, because his first words to me was, yo, man, you used to have the illest navigators in Queens. I turned around and looked at him. Then he had the watch phone. Before these phone watches came out, he had a watch phone. and he was talking on it, and like people was calling. I'm sitting there looking at like, what the hell's going on here? Like
And he locked down with all.
but he was telling me everything that my Jeep had, how it looked, and everything. I'm like, wow, like so. We go in there to talk about kids and how, don't do this and don't do that. And this dude is talking to me about some whole other situation going on in there. Like, and it's funny that he must have knew I was coming so that he made his way there. So just so he could tell me that, you know what I mean? But it's good that you give back like that, man. You try to, and it's funny because we just had another conversation I was talking to my boy Terrence about was just giving back to the community and being authentic with it. A lot of people do it for likes, comments, and, all that other BS, but they don't be true to it. And it's good to see people that are true to giving back and authentic to giving back, and not just because it's, the good thing to do or the hip thing to do. Is, I've been down this road. I want to see you go down this road. Let me see how much game and knowledge I can give you. Because I know for me, talking to kids is big for me, because sometimes you can't change older people. You can't give them that. You can talk to them, and if they want to receive it, they might receive it. You know what I mean? But they're pretty much on their own path already, whereas with kids, sometimes they still trying to figure it out. And if you catch them right there, that vital moment, sometimes you can sway them to do the things that they're supposed to and stay away from the things that they.
They're still moldable, man.
Yeah,
they're not all the way developed. So those are the ones to focus on, man. And there's a lot of talent in it. A lot of talented brothers. I did 7 years, man, and some of the most honest and morally rich people I ever met was in prison, man. You don't need no contract to sign or look at the dotted line. Shake the hand, yo, brother, I got you. I'm going to do this on this day for you. And that's what it was, So,
see, a lot of people look down to people who go to prison. And, sometimes it's just a choice that's made that ends you up in the place that you don't really need to be. That doesn't necessarily mean you're a bad person or you just a throwaway. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I think that gets lost on people because, when they hear incarcerated or jail or inmate or whatever the title is that they associate you with, they don't think about that. Like, it could be you. It could be, See, but what's funny about that, because usually the people that's looking down on you, those are the people that get a pass. They get the passes. They get the 5-year probations, and we get the 25 to life. And, we didn't stole, got a 3-year, 3 strikes.
Right.
I remember reading one time where a kid did something, and it was all like little stuff. It wasn't really like, he was going to jail, but it wasn't like felonies, and he stole a bag of potato chips. And the judge gave him life in jail on 3rd strike.
Because that was his 3rd strike. Yeah.
For stealing a $25 bag of potato chips? Like, come on. Like, we never really get the fair shake, you know what I mean? And it's unfortunate, but...
Well, one thing I see, like, all right, when I came home in 2004, and I started doing a documentary, didn't know anything about film, anything, just trying to really just get a quick dollar, and I knew what a good story was.
Right.
So I started filming a doc, and I'm shopping a trailer, and I bumps into Nelson George through way of shout out to Light and Q-Tip. They linked me to have a meeting with him. And at the time, Reginald Hutland was the president of BET, and that's Nelson George, man. Mm-hmm. So Nelson seen the trailer and was like, yo, who else seen this, man? So I'm like, I'm telling him who seen it. And he said, yo, we got $300 million to turn the station around. We could bid on this too, So I was like, all right, if you're serious, just hit me up. And he hit me up. I didn't even take his number.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, if you're serious, call me. And he called, So then we linked up, and he brought me to the office. I met Reginald. My first meeting at BET was with Reginald Hutland, Selwyn Hines, Nelson George, and Nina Henderson Moore. So it was like the 4 top dogs that was running. The only one that wasn't there was Deborah Lee. Right. So it was like, and I was just being my authentic self, and they was like, yo, we need to put this dude on the air and put him in the news department since he has so much, access to the community. Let's put him in the news department. And I was still on parole, and I was on state parole and supervised release because I did a Fed and state bid together. And so that was a good look for me. Now I'm like, now I got a job, right? So, because one of my mandates was to seek and maintain employment. So I'm like, okay, that's out the way, right? So now, I'm around all these academic elites, cats that went to Ivy Leagues, black people that's like smart as hell to do these stories. And so I'm there learning everything I could learn. I was the first one there, last one to leave, and I was doing that for years, just like getting the knowledge, because I said, something like this don't come, so I got to take full advantage of this opportunity. And I wound up staying at BET for 10 years. But my point was, I always branded myself just who I was. So I didn't shy away from incarceration. I didn't shy away from gun violence. I didn't shy away from anything that the streets had to offer. I let them know I lived that. And now I could tell stories about it and be credible on Black Entertainment Television, which was an outlet for our community, period. And we know if I'm going through this, there's millions more that's going through it. So, I think I kind of was one of the pioneers that gave way for people with felony convictions to know that they can turn their life around and they could be successful. So now a lot of places look for people that got felony convictions that turned their life around. Like while I'm in Rikers Island doing what I do, everybody that's with me, that's doing the work, they've been incarcerated. Those are the only ones that's really, for the most part, that them cats are going to listen to.
Yeah, it's if you've been through it, they can see themselves in you,
Right, and then it's like, yo, look, man, you could turn it around. That's why I make sure I go there dip every day. I go there fly, I let them see me, They be like, yo, OG, what's that? What's that on your wrist? I'm like, what you think, man? Yo, what's that on your feet, man? And I'm like, yo, you see I'm chilling? I got all this legally, man. I'm doing this the right way, man. You could do it like you don't have to cut corners, man. And they be like looking, and you can see it's resonating. You know what I'm saying? So,
a lot of times people do, they want to take the shortcuts. I was one of those kids too where, my mom, and I tell the story damn near every episode because it's so crazy to me. My mom used to always be like, you're going to be dead in jail by the time you're 21. You know what I'm saying? And I say like, yo, you say that, that's crazy. But I got into a major car accident at 17 and almost died. So who was standing over me talking shit.
Right.
Wow, she was like that, what I tell you, and I'm like, I don't want to hear that right now.
Right.
But I never used to listen to her. Like, I would listen to her, but always just go my own way prior to that.
Right.
And then once that happened, to me, it was like, this motherfucker got ESP or something? Like, what's going on here? Like, so I started listening more. I started paying attention. I started taking advice more. Because she used to tell me all the time, everything that you've done, I've done.
Right.
But I was on that quick road to jail. Like, the night I got into the car accident, I was in a stolen car. I was drunk as hell. You know what I'm saying? I had drugs on me. I was just, it was, if I would have got caught, it would have been a whole different situation because I definitely would have did time for the car. Definitely would have did time for the drugs. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, but at that age of 17, I was able to kind of wake up and be like, all right. And then one thing she said to me too was like, you always tell me you're going to buy me a house. I want that house. Now, how you going to get me the house if you're out here doing this? What are you going to do to get me that house? Show me what you're going to do to get me this house. And after the accident, I felt like I had a purpose because I was like, all right, I can't be no statistic. I ain't trying to go to jail. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got to get myself together. So at 17, I made like some of the illest choices that I don't even think too many 17-year-olds make. You know what I mean? Like, they don't sit there and be like, all right, this friend ain't doing nothing for me. I don't need him. This friend ain't doing nothing for me. Definitely don't need him. And then out of 13, 14 friends, I was like, okay, I'm going to take you 2 friends out of all these friends.
Wow.
And I'm going to rock with y'all. You know what I'm saying?
Because the process of elimination at 17.
At 17, bro.
That's dope. That's
you know
deep.
What I'm saying?
That's
so
deep, man.
I just cut all these people out of my life, and then I will only go back to see these 2 cats. Like, because I moved away from the neighborhood, so I will always come back to see them. And we still close. Well, one of them passed, but we was all still close, you know, for the next 20, 30 years. You know what I'm saying? But it's situations and choices. Like I tell kids all the time when I talk to these kids, it's like, you have a choice. Now, if you choose to be with the wrong crowd and you make the wrong choice, you gotta live with that. You know what I'm saying? If you trying to get yourself together, then you gotta make better choices. You know, this kid was gonna go down here and do, like, I used to get caught just so stupid. Like, just being with certain cats in my neighborhood, like, yo, keep, man, we going over here, we gonna do this, we gonna, I'm like, bet, let's go. And then I'll go do it, and then afterward I'll be like, man, you know, like, shit. Right. You know what I'm saying? But and I don't know if it was like peer pressure, you know what I'm saying, or trying to fit in, or wanting to be in the in crowd, and we gonna take Keith because he about it, you know what I'm saying? Right. Like, I don't know if it was that or whatever it was, but I made that choice at 17 to just let all of that go, and wound up getting with my guys and choosing these friends over these friends. You know, I still had these friends over here, but I chose my new friends like Damon and Carl and Jay. We was doing things, going out of town, going on tours, and you know, we backstage at LL concert. I'm telling people I'm LL little brother. They're like, yeah, you know, I'm running through everything and just just having a ball. You know, at a young age, like 15, 16. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, I'd rather be doing that than being on the block with these cats, robbing and stealing and drinking and smoking and just, you know. And that was an easy decision.
Right.
But to stay that path was, you know, that was hard. You know what I mean? But you also producing. I know you got a production company. What you got coming out?
So my production company is J City Enterprise.
Right.
Right now, our main focus, you know, we're doing a lot of independent documentaries for clients. Mm-hmm. You know, some may be construction, some may be in, you know, whatever field they're in, teachers that want something done on, you know. So in the process, sometimes we train their students and then train their students to be able to do the documentary, right? But our main thing right now is to get our scripted content show picked up. It's a series. It's about, you know, the oldest profession in human trafficking, like never told before, you know. So we just been getting that right for a couple years now. So that's the thing, because, you know, I did like 8 documentaries that all aired on national and international platforms. I did probably over 100 small profile pieces and stuff. So that type of storytelling, now I'm just challenging myself and my team to take it to the next level and be able to create a series where there's the narrative of us creating the story, instead of, you know, with documentaries, sometimes you could think you know the story you're going to tell, and then one interview will take it to a whole nother, take it on a whole nother lane. You know what I'm saying? Cause you,
or one producer.
Exactly. You know, but you can interview somebody and then you think you know the story, but when you interview this person, say, oh, hold up, wow, now hold up, we got to really check out the moms. Hold up, we thought it was this dude, but and then it you know, you have to like work on the fly, and now you may have to change what you thought was a story, because now you're finding out what's a story. So, you know, people think doing documentaries is easy. It's hard. It's hard work, especially if you got a lot of people you interviewing. You have to mix all those sound bites together to tell this one story. Right? Then you got to get B-roll and make sure that you have coverage to capture all the, you know, the goal for the interviews. So it may look easy, and I do have a method to make it easier, but, you know, it's a lot of work, and sometimes the money isn't as rewarding as the work. But you're doing it out of love, and you're helping stories get told that need to be told, right? But the scripted space, man, I'm feeling this. I teach scripted content development, you know, and with all my students, we build a script together, and then we get the actors, they table read, and we film it. And so I'm in that lane, you know. But the main thing is for us to get our own show picked up. So that's what we're working on now, man.
You know, it's funny. We've been trying to get a documentary done since 2008, and I don't know, for some reason, you know, this production company wanted to do it, Lion Gauge, this one, that one, you know, and it was just, it didn't happen, and I'm like, listen, y'all must have read too much into the FUBU bio. Because the FUBU bio is, Damon John, keep calling Jay, you know, came up with this, worked on this company FUBU, and Damon mortgaged his house, and that's the shell of it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, you haven't even went into each of our lives.
Right.
So, like, a lot of stuff I was just telling you, like, people don't even know. I just started sharing all this stuff since I started doing radio, because I was holding it. I was like, yo, I'm going to hold this, you know. And then when I sat down with the producers, I would tell them what I've been through and how I grew up and, you know, the challenges I was faced with. But I don't know why it never came to fruition. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know this one A-list actor, I don't even want to put him out there because I know he's still working on it, but not with him, but with other people. But he was trying to do it before COVID hit, and I was like, oh man, because I kept pitching him because of some notes he put out, and I was like, yo, he needs to do this. He needs to do this. So Damon reached out to him. He's cool with Damon. So Damon reached out to him. He was gung ho. Production company jumped on it. They, you know, we filmed some stuff, a trailer or whatever, and then it just sat, and I was like. I'm like, yo, and then when we tell the stories to people like, yo, y'all need a documentary. When's y'all documentary coming out? And we just did Drink Champs. So that to me is kind of like the closest. Yeah, it's the closest to all of us just talking, just telling people, you know, we didn't really get too deep in there, but you can see we got a story to tell. You know what I'm saying? So
and I probably would approach it in the way that individual, like you said, all of y'all have your individual lives, right? So to go through the individual part, whatever stories that those are, and then, you know, mesh it with what y'all created. You know what I'm saying? And then veering back off to individual, what's going on after it's been created. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody know the story. Yeah. So all right, you know, how much you gonna tell? What happened from y'all meeting together, you know, devising this plan to create this brand, to being able to market this brand and then promote this brand to become this big. But what happened? What was going on in y'all individual lives?
It was so much going on. Like, even in our individual lives, my life in particular, you know, I'm gonna speak for myself, was crazy. Like, the stuff that I went through growing up was way more crazy. Like, everybody to me, like, I always looked at everybody else like, y'all good. Because if you got a house, back when I was coming up, you good. I lived in an apartment damn near all my life. You know what I'm saying? Until my moms thought we had a house to buy, and that was a two-year thing. You know what I'm saying? And then we were back in the apartment. So it felt good for me to even buy her first house. You know, when I bought her first house, it was like crazy. But then it's the other elements that happens behind the scenes with the clothing company that people don't know, the extortions, you know, the killings, the shootings, the, you know, people trying to, you know, rob us on the daily, and we walk around with bulletproof vests on, and, you know what I'm saying, everybody kind of, you know, carrying, or somebody around them carrying. Like, it was just crazy. Be like, bro, we do clothes. Like, we looking around like we thought we escaped this. We like, yo, we do clothes. We don't need to be running around like this. And then we finally kind of, you know, caught ourselves, because we ain't want to get in no trouble, you know, and we always try to keep our head clean. So that's why when people think about FUBU, it's like, oh, those guys, because we was talking to Nori was like, oh man, I thought y'all was just making clothes and getting money. I was like, I wish. Like it was wolves out there, bro, that was really on us and, you know, trying to, I know my kid I grew up with tried to extort me for $30 million. It's just like, yo, what are we talking about right now, bro? Like, yo, you know what type of time I'm on and you know what type of guy I am. Like, we could go out in the street and handle this, like, but I ain't want to, because I always looked at it like, the choice that I make, whether, you know, I want to wild out or not, can end me up
you had too much
situation.
To lose,
yeah, and I was like, I ain't trying to get caught up, and I'll just let it go. So a lot of things that we kind of let slide, but it was a lot of stuff that we went through that people, you know, just
see that's the story right
even
there.
From going from 4 regular cats to like being, even though we were fashion, you know, into the fashion industry, we were like an R&B group. Like, we doing commercials, we on your TV every day, we dancing around, people noticing us, we can't go nowhere, we taking a gazillion pictures. You know, we go to BET Awards, we jump out of the limo, girls is crying, I'm looking around like, the hell are you crying for? I'm like, what are you crying for? I make clothes, I don't even act, I'm not, but it's just, you know, it's just funny to see that, like, because we never knew that it was gonna get like that. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's funny because my boy Grim used to always be like, man, y'all like an R&B group, man. I done been with Rolling Stones, and I done been with everybody, and R. Kelly, and this one and that one, and he's like, yo, y'all the closest thing to an R&B group as I've ever seen.
You over exceed your expectations. So, like, what, you know, as far as what you would have done different? Would you have exposed yourself as the owners?
No, but we did. Early.
I'm saying, but would you have not done that?
No, I think for us, you know, we were trying to figure out how, you know, when you come into the game, you don't necessarily have you have a plan, right? But you can't see where it's gonna go. You know what I'm saying? So how we did it, we was like, you know what? We just gonna come in here, we gonna do this, and we gonna make ourselves seen. You know, this clothing company, you know, we don't know who the hell owned this company. We know who owned Carl Canai. Like, we didn't know who owned Cross Colors. We never really seen them until later on we were in the industry. But we saw Carl. But Carl put out the artists and Pac and all of them first, and then he kind of like played the back and, you know, did that. So we knew who he was. But then when we came out, we was like, you know what? We gonna do commercials. We gonna be on TV every day. This is how our marketing is gonna go. And then we did that. So I wouldn't necessarily change none of that. And then everything else for me, man, was one hell of a ride. Like, I tell people all the time, I say, yo, bro, if I die today or tomorrow, I said I done lived a great life. I took care of my family. You know, I'm gonna leave a legacy. You know what I'm saying? Because this is gonna go forever. We in like, I want to say, the last time I counted was like 5 or 6 history books, and we got about 7 or 8 museums that we were in, you know, all over the world, and across, you know, in Paris, and just other places that you would be like,
wow.
You know what I'm saying? We got wax figures.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things that people know. Like, they got different pieces. They heard a little bit about this, they heard a little bit about that, but they ain't never hear it all. So, well, why don't we do that when that Drink Champs comes out, like, cats gonna be like,
but you know what y'all should do? Well, I think maybe y'all should do a film, man, a scripted movie first. Then that will inspire the documentary.
So this is why I got told that A-list actor to do it was our series at first, because I was like, yo, I like the series he put out, but how he did it, if you change the characters to black folks and switch it up a little bit, that's how our story needs to play out. So I was always on like wanted to be a series, and I was like, from a series, then we can always do a doc and we can always do a movie. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on how much you want to tell. But hopefully we'll get it done one day.
Yeah.
I mean, we working on it, and we'll see.
Because a film would be easier to write, right? To have like maybe a 2 hour, 1.5 hour, movie, right? And because series that's a whole nother beast. That's a whole nother beast to write.
But it's so much.
But it could. That's what I'm saying, though. It could come from from that film, because the film is intriguing enough to have cast like. Because I mean, what y'all did was I never seen anything like that with the fashion industry, and especially with us, and y'all set the trends, man. Like, you really open up doors for black people in the fashion industry, period.
Right.
Bootleg. Bootleg. Yo.
I told that story too.
Yeah. And when you said that on Drink Champs, I remember, because I was like, I remember that bootleg FUBU was everywhere.
Yeah, it was
everywhere. You know what I'm saying?
And people used to call us and curse us out. Yo, my shit fell apart. I'd be like, yo, what? What are you talking about? I'd be like, send me a picture. Email me a picture. And they would sound like, sorry, you got that for the bootleg. We never put that shirt out. And they would be super mad and wanted us to do something. And it was like, bro,
what can you do?
You got to buy it from the store. And we'll honor it if you buy it from the store.
Right.
But yeah, I think it could go either way. I think it can go movie. I think it could go all three ways, actually.
No, it can.
Because I think if you, like you said, if we did the movie about it, you just touch on certain things where they want to see more, they want to know more, but can't see it.
Yeah.
Then you come back either with the series or the doc, and because it's just so much that we've seen, we've done, we experienced. Do
you have a lot of footage of y'all?
Yeah, we got footage. We don't have a lot of late footage. You know what I'm saying? Probably within the last 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Or say the last.
But you got a lot of footage from when y'all was starting out.
Yeah, but we got tons of footage. Like, we got tons of footage.
Because you need that for the doc to be able to cover.
And then,
you know what I'm saying?
Like, even when you bring it up to now, the interviews and the people that are relevant now that was relevant back then can always come in and sit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And talk about what we're doing, and even the new people that we've touched years later. Collaborations we've done with different people, you know what I'm saying, and different companies, and still being that go-to company that can push the needle. He's 32 years. I remember Damon said, man, we got about 3 years. We got to get what money we can, and we got to start some other businesses. And we really lived it like that. Like, we went so hard.
How long was the run?
The run was a good, so from 96 to about 2004 was hard. Like, it was going hard. Like, we were making, and then I want to say between like 98, from 98 to like 2004, we was like getting like $350 million a year. And that was because we opened up stores overseas. We had all these licenses. We had
crazy.
We was doing a lot. But it was always in the back of our head that we had to hurry up and do what we needed to do because it was going to be over. And then once we passed that 3-year mark, we was like, oh, it's going to be over next year. Next year's the year. And then 4th year came, we was like, shit, well, we got to figure something out because when it run out, we want to be in a position. And then I remember one of the guys that worked with us was like, oh, let me open up your international business. I'll have 200 stores all over the world, and I'll have you guys everywhere. It was like, okay, well, now you go do what you do. And
he did it.
And he did it. Like, I'm gonna lie to you.
Wow.
We had places like, we had stores inside. Like, when I say stores, I mean full-fledged stores, not no,
section.
No section or,
right.
The whole store, the first floor, second floor, sometimes third floor was all FUBU.
Oh, wow.
And places like Saudi Arabia, Milan,
So what y'all did, build up the equity and then sold it?
No, we never sold it. We never sold it. So what we did, and I always clear this up, is when you apply for your mark, which is FUBU or whatever, FUBU Radio, you apply for it everywhere. So,
Right.
Places, and it costs to get it everywhere. You pay a pretty penny just to keep it everywhere. But you have different territories. So we sold, I think, Philippines territory, we sold Korea territory, I think Japan, and one other place. I can't think of it right now, but there's one other place. I think it was like 3 or 4 territories. So, and all of that means is Japan can go off. They bought the rights to go off and produce their own FUBU stuff. They gave us a check at that time for maybe 30, 40 million, 50 million, or whatever it was.
Right.
Same thing with the other places. And, I even went in big places like Philippines. Like, Philippines is huge with FUBU. When I mean huge, I mean
Wow.
huge.
Wow.
And they've been doing it, they're into the whole EDM thing, and so they do the rave and the concerts, and then we got a lot of DJs that do it, so they always sending us parties that they ran dressed in FUBU, and it's just a lot. Like,
I could see the Asians taking the grasp just for two reasons. I'm looking at the red, like that's the color of their flag, and then just FUBU. That the name,
because
it
we
does
thought
sound,
we thought we was like, yeah, it does sound a little African, or maybe sound Asian a little bit. Like, you never
Right,
know.
right,
And
right.
that's why we went with it, because at first we was like, by us, for us, Boo-foo. Nah, that ain't gonna work.
right.
And then somebody spent it around and was like, for us, by us. And it was like, for us, by us, FUBU. It's not African, it could be Asian, but
right.
you don't know. And,
Right.
and it just stuck with us, and then we
Right.
ran with that.
Yeah, it's a dope name.
So.
Definitely stood
But
out.
like I said, man, it's taking us a long way. Now it's even got to a point where we're expanding the empire and doing TV and doing radio.
I remember y'all was gonna do some phones, right?
Yeah, that went all the way left.
Yeah, of course. I know one of the cats that was gonna shout out to Benjamin. I met Benjamin. We was gonna do some other business together back in the days, and he was telling me about the phones. That's what he was going in.
Yeah. It just never materialized the way we wanted it to materialize. But that's the chances you take,
Right.
trying to expand. Like, when the opportunity was presented to us, we was like, we can knock this out. We can, we can be a player in this game. Like, even with this radio thing, like, I'm up against heavy hitters. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't care, because this is, first of all, it's black owned. That's first of all. So you don't really have too many black owned radio stations out there. Secondly, I get to navigate what I want to put out there and the energy that I want to put out there, or even the energy I want to pour into somebody who comes onto the show. You know what I'm saying? It's different than me looking to go viral, or me just, looking for clickbait. And, because with me, I always say we got enough of that. So like when you were saying you was doing scripted, I was like, damn, what he gonna say? Hope he ain't gonna say a whole bunch of motherfuckers fighting on TV, because I absolutely despise that. I feel like, as creators, whether it's TV, movies, film, whatever it is, we have the opportunity to put out great work,
Right.
and not really follow the trendy things that's out there. You know what I'm saying? Even with us, we would always try to go this. Like, if everybody was going this way, we would always try to go this way. So we wouldn't know what we were getting into, but when we got there, we figured out, okay, we went through X Games. Yeah, ain't nobody over here messing with these X Games. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
But Monster and all these other people, all these other brands out here, so let's go over here and touch that. Or is it BMX, or is it NASCAR? Whatever it is, we always try to do something that was different from what everybody else was doing. So I try to do the same thing here with You know, I try to bring positivity. I try to bring, you know, encouragement. You know, I
Right.
try to pour into people. If there's any knowledge I can give a person while they up here, you know, I just try to do all of that. And if I don't go viral, I don't go viral. But when you turn this interview, you're gonna be like, oh, that was a dope interview.
Right. So
That's all I care about. You know what
like,
I'm saying?
what you were saying, like back to the scripted, right? Like, you know, not no reality show or messy. It's non-scripted, but you know, we know a lot of that is scripted. But what inspired me to even to do a scripted series was I don't know if you know Marquand Smith.
Yeah, that's my boy.
Yeah,
He was up here.
So me and him was at BET for a while, and I seen him hustle and the years that he put in to get Godfathers of Harlem picked up. And when he got that picked up, and I'm in 2 episodes with him, and I remember going to the set, and I'm seeing, you know, all these trucks, the trailers, and everything, and Godfather's Harlem go to this room, that dressing room, and I'm like, yo, look at all of this, man, for my man's idea. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, and he kept pushing. So after I seen that, I was like, yo, let me get back to my pen, man, and work on this thing that I wanted to work on for a while about, you know, the sex industry, right? And to be able to tell a story that humanized that world, right? From, you know, my god brother, God bless him, he passed away not too long ago, around 8-9 months ago, but he retired from being a pimp. And you know, and I was like, yo, this dude, man, you know, people have a one-dimensional view on people in certain professions. Like when I was selling drugs and even doing armed robberies, they might have looked at me, somebody that don't know me, oh, he do armed robberies on drug dealers, he tying them up, they're like, that dude must be a bad, you know. But people that know me say, nah, that's a good dude, man. But it's like, how can he be a good dude and he's doing that, right? Because that was the profession that I was in then. Like people may look like you said, choices. I chose that profession, right? And when I was selling drugs, I chose that profession. And my father had said to me, he said, yo, you know what, no matter, even when you was in the streets, he said, you still was always a good dude, man. And that meant something coming from my father, right? Because he said, yo, you always treated people right like you was, he said, I'm not saying that what you did was right, but you was always a good dude. So now I'm back to the foundation of what I am, giving back, doing, you know, wanting to see somebody prosper, giving them the jewels that they may need to prosper, you know, always supporting where I could. And, you know, and this brother that was in that profession, I learned from him. He the one that took me and put me in, you know, out to the streets when I was doing, when I was 11 and started like doing my crimes. He's older. He's seen where I was heading. So he snatched me up and he couldn't stop me, but he said, yo, this is how you do it.
Right.
If this is what you're going to do, this is how you do it.
But that's how they did it back then.
Right, right. So, you know, and then he got into managing women or pimping, and his style was just different. And then I've been around other dudes that was like, you know, that fits that stereotypical pimp. You know what I'm saying? The ones that you want to just throw in the garbage, right? So, and then to see that, yo, this isn't a one-dimensional type of world right here. There's cats that's just like any other world. You have some honorable. You have some that's dishonorable. You have some that's forced into this. Some that's peer pressure. Some and the way the world works is the way that world works, and the microcosm. You know, so to be able to tell this story, even with women, I know some women that were prostituting themselves that wanted to. I mean, that had a zeal to do this. I knew girls in Miami when they was younger. They dream was to be a loop dancer. And, you know, like to be on stage, and I'm like, this is your goal? Yeah, I'm going to be the baddest, be out there.
I saw this post one day. They were asking kids at elementary school down south what they wanted to be. And the girls was like, I want to be a stripper. And I was like,
right.
What?
Right. So somebody may say, oh, he making them, or they made, you know, she must have had a troubling childhood. Nah, that's not always the case. Some people want to get into this. So, you know, what I show with this series, and you have to have a vast knowledge to be able to tell the story how we telling it, is that, you know, there's this world that's being forced, and then there's the willing participants. But these two worlds collide, right? And
Like even with the
they have to
videos, like
coexist.
video vixens and
Right.
shit and things like that. You'll have girls that'll be like, "Oh, I'll be in the video, but I ain't coming to be shaking my ass
Right.
and doing this and doing
Right.
that." But then you'll have the girls that'll be like,
I do
"Oh,
it.
I'm
They
about
be
to
like,
turn it out.
right.
What you need, daddy?"
Right.
Like, you know, and you be
Right.
like, because I've been on video sets, and that's kind of like that's something I'm good at too, like taking pictures and filming and the right stuff and the right way.
Catching it.
I'm not educated in it. It's probably some things I could have did a lot better. I actually thought I was doing something with a shot on my camera and sent it to my editor. He was like, "See, what happened was you had the light when you was outside, but when you came inside, you didn't have the light. So it go from light to dark." So he was teaching me little things like that, and I'm like, "Yeah, I should have had the light out." So it gave her that same look as when she was outside.
Right.
So he couldn't use the shot. I understand. But it's like me being on set every day, I learned the 3 lenses, the wide shot, mid shot, close up, and this and that, and the gaffers and this and what the AP do and what the DP does. And I was like, just sitting there, listening to all of that, and I was like, damn. So as I got older, and then I also like how production works. Everybody worked with like a team. The art department to come in and turn a blank room into a whole, you know what I'm saying? A whole setup. And you'd be like, in like 30 minutes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Have it looking totally different in 30 minutes. So I was intrigued by that. And that's kind of what got me into like wanting to know more about film. I started acting. I started, doing different things like that. But FUBU was just pulling me away from everything. So I stuck with that, and then it turned into this, So.
Yeah, you did the right thing, man. You did the right thing.
People say, "Yo, why don't you start a podcast as opposed to a radio station?" I was like, because a podcast is just another form of radio. If I start a podcast, then I'll just be known as a podcast. But if I start a radio station, I could do radio, I could do podcasts, I could do other things, I could do shows. It's so many different things that I could do at radio as opposed to just being, Keeyzo Corner podcast. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. I could do more with the radio station than that. What else you got planned, man? I know we've been chopping it up for a minute, man. I know you got a lot of things down the pipeline.
Yeah. So, like how you mentioned that FUBU is the driving force that basically guided you to wherever you land, right? And the same thing with me, like with the storytelling. It's leading me into jails. It's leading me into organizations that are doing good community-based work. It's leading me around. Like I met my wife, man, doing this. You know what I'm saying? And we've been together like 16 years now.
That's what's up.
So so really, they say you want to make God laugh, tell him your plan, right? So I don't try to like say, yo, I'm doing this and I'm sticking to it. My thing is I am concentrated on getting my show picked up, but in the meantime, I'm still teaching. We still have our production company that do provide services, for clients, and rather they be digital spaces or linear, some cable networks and stuff we deal with as well. But we just continue to do the work, man, and then when the right opportunity opens up, I just learned to not try to plan so much,
right?
Because when things go left, you don't know how to bounce back from that because you were so stuck on it has to go like this, it has to go like this. So we just like Bruce Lee said, man, you gotta be like water. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be like water, man, and just flow with it, man. So that's what I learned through my age and wisdom. I'm like, yo, you can't plan everything out sometime, man.
I tried to plan this out, and because I said to myself, if it took us 4 years to get off the ground with FUBU, it shouldn't take longer to get off the ground with this. So I should be around either the same or maybe 3 years. And I spent the first 2 years in beta trying to figure out the right sound and the right music and, you know, and all that stuff. And by the time I got to the point where I started adding a team, I was already coming around in my third year already. I was like, oh man, I'm supposed to be off the ground by now. You know, I'm saying it to myself. And then I started just like going so hard trying to put the right pieces together and make sure everything was clicking. I remember my boy telling me one day, he's like, yo, it ain't got to be perfect, man. You trying to get perfect. I was like, nah, I ain't trying to get perfect. I'm just trying to have it all together, like, so that if I go out, you know, because they wanted me to be the face. He was like, oh, you got to be the face, and, you know, you should have your own show. And I was like, yeah, I can, and I will, but I got so much other stuff to put, you know, the foundation to lay, so that when I do step out as the face or get my own show, I'm not worrying about all these little problems that should have been taken care of. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, when we got out of COVID, we was in our, 7th year of COVID? No, 6th year. And then by the time we got everything situated, we got a deal, and that's the late part of that year. And then coming into the 7th year, we was like, okay, now we finally got everything clicking. But I did not think it was going to take 7 years to get everything clicking. See, because what happens is you get the talent, right? But then you don't have the executive side done. So then you work on the executive side, and your talent fall by the wayside. You know what I'm saying? So then you go back and forth trying to make sure everything is working at the same time, so you finally get to the point where this is clicking, when this is clicking, when that's clicking, and now it looks like something. You know what I'm saying? And but you can't, you know, you can't give up. I remember my boy telling me, he said, man, you ain't making no money from that radio station, man. You might as well do something else. Try to do something else. You just getting paid yourself. You know, don't worry about everybody else. You know, you put some money in your pocket. And I was like, yeah, I could do that, you know, but these people believe in me, and they roll with me, and they, you know, when we was building this, everybody invested blood, sweat, and tears,
Right.
and they still here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So if they're still here after all of that, why would I quit on them?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
This is not killing my pockets to run. You know what I'm saying? So why would I quit on them? I can understand why I'm making mortgage payments a month trying to keep this afloat, but you know, it wasn't really crazy, but I was able to stay the course, and I think like 2 months after that, I wound up getting a deal, and I just was like, oh Lordy, thank you, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I was like, thank you, Jesus. Because it was just so hard, man, and people don't understand, you know, I'm up against a lot of giants in the game, you know what I mean? You got all of the majors, and then you got, you know, all of the social media people who think that their thing is like the news, and, you know, and they're popular too. You know what I'm saying? They're way more popular than I am, but I just think I just stay this course, man. I don't even really be watching what everybody else be doing, really. You know what I'm saying? Because I just do it, and then that's why I named it Keeyzo's Corner, because I wanted it to be about this, just kicking it, like we just talking about what's going on, what you got going on, what I got going on, and if you want to talk to me and find out information about what I'm doing or how I did something, you feel free to ask. And you know, so it wasn't just Soul and Samson and Howard. Right. One of those you sitting up there looking at like, this nigga serious. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it just worked out, man. But let people know where they can find you, man.
Nah, definitely, man. So on IG, the Samson Styles. That's Samson without a P, Samson, how it's spelled in the biblical sense. And I'm on Facebook and what is that? TikTok, LinkedIn. You can just Google Samson Styles. I'm there.
Yeah, you'll find them. I appreciate you, man, pulling up on us today, man, and chopping it up. You always got a platform here whenever you need me, man.
I appreciate that, man.
Pull up and let me know what's going on.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And congratulations, man, on your success. I know this is going to blow out the water, you know.
Yeah, it's getting there. You heard him, guys? I'm waiting. I'm waiting, but, you know, tapped into another episode of Keeyzo's Corner. You know, another episode in the can. You dig? We out.